Hello everyone, my name is Katerina Krivolap, and today I would like to teach you how to paint the most common flower in Petrykivka art. This one. So let's begin. Today we will be using a round brush and a cat brush. If you don't have cat brush, you can use any fine brush. Now let's begin with sketching using a pencil. At the beginning I will demonstrate two fundamental strokes that we will use in the onion flower. And then I will show you several possible variations of the onion flower that we will be painting together today. The first flower will be smallest in size. It will consist of 3 petals. These sketches are not obligatory to create. You can paint without a pencil. However, it's important for me to demonstrate even in these outlines the significant difference that can exist in shape of the flower. The next flower will be of a larger size, featuring 5 petals plus 2 additional ones at the bottom. These additional petals are roughly started from the middle of the outermost petals, even a bit lower. This flower will be the same size as the previous one, with the same numbers of petals. The only difference lies in the petals themselves, as they will have pointed tips. The next flower will be different in shape. This flower will be thicker and wider. In my opinion, this shape looks more like a pumpkin. Due to the wider structure, there will be more petals in this one. I'll be drawing 7 petals plus 2 additional ones at the bottom. And the last flower will also differ in shape. It will be elongated with petals close to each other, resembling a flower that hasn't fully opened. Plus, additionally, there will be 4 extra petals on the outside. We have finished with the sketches, and at this stage you can already see the difference in the flowers that we will be painting together. Let's now prepare the paint. I use acrylic paint. First we need pink and purple, and dark purple we will need later for the outline. Certainly you can use any other colors, but it's advisable for them to have a noticeable contrast, with one being darker or brighter than the other. Now we will use a round brush. I will use size 6, but you can use any others. The first and the main color will be pink, and then I will dip just the tip of the brush into the purple color. I will demonstrate the basic stroke. Gently touch the tip of the brush to the paper. Then press the brush completely, and at the same moment glide it smoothly while lifting it off the paper. In the next stroke, the execution technique is the same. The only difference is that we bend the stroke. Now, using these two kinds of stroke, we will create a flower. It doesn't matter from which side you start painting the petals. Note that to keep the strokes vibrant, you should add paint to the tip of the brush each time. And the last central stroke, make it smooth and smaller in size. I will paint the small stroke again, because when you draw a smaller flower, the central stroke should also be smaller. Now let's draw the classic version of the onion flower. It will consist of 5 petals and 2 additional ones at the bottom of the flower. Don't forget to add paint to the brush each time to make the strokes look beautiful. For the flower to come together, make sure that all strokes, the petals, meet at one central point. Now let's paint the 2 additional lower petals. Pay attention that the lower petals shouldn't overlap the upper ones. Now let's paint the next onion flower. In fact, it will be the same except for the beginning of the petals, as they will have pointed tips. Now I will explain what needs to be done to achieve such sharp strokes. To achieve the necessary stroke, the tip of your brush should be sharp. This means that you need to remove any extra paint from the tip. When you initially touch the paper with the tip, don't press the brush immediately. Instead, gently move the tip for just 1 or 2 millimeters and only then press the entire brush onto the paper. We follow the same process for all the other petals in this flower as well. The central stroke and then 2 extra petals. Next flower. This flower, in my opinion, resembles a pumpkin more in shape. Here we make the petals sharp in the same way. The difference from the previous flowers is that because the flower is more flattened, the distance between the petals should be greater. And of course, due to the larger size, there will be more petals in this flower. And the last in this flower, let's add 2 extra strokes. We have 1 more flower left. This flower will be elongated with the first 2 petals close to each other, and the second row of petals will even touch each other. The last central petals left. In this way, the flower will resemble the shape of a bud, a flower that has not fully bloomed. The additional petals are also painted in non-standard way. They should be higher than usual, and then we add even shorter petals. As you can see, the concept of the flower is the same, but due to the different shapes, they all look different. Now we will need a cat brush, but if you don't have one, you can use any thin brush, it will work too. And we will use dark purple color. Now our task is to outline all the flowers. I usually start from the middle of the stroke and draw lines towards the center of the flower. All of them should end in one point. When you create an outline, it doesn't matter from which side you start, from the left, right or center. It's up to you. Here is another tip from me. When outlining elements, whether they are flowers or leaves, I usually make longer lines along the petals. And then between these longer lines, I add lines of different lengths, but they are usually shorter than the one along the petals. Students often ask me if it's necessary to outline the elements. Of course, it's not mandatory. If your flower looks neat and as you desire, you can leave it as it is. However, if something doesn't look right, adding an outline can hide imperfections and make them overall appearance better. And honestly, in my opinion, flowers look brighter and more beautiful with outlines. Today we've covered 5 types of onion flowers. I hope you found today's lessons helpful and you can now use this technique to add variety of your paintings with new elements.